What is the spiritual dream meaning of dragons? Okay, let's start here. When she was just 13 years old, a peasant girl started having visions. And look, these weren't some gentle feelings. We're talking full-blown, terrifying, luminous apparitions just exploding out of the dark. And they weren't suggesting things. They were commanding her to go to war.
Just look at the speed of this whole thing. She's born in 1412. The visions start around 1425. By 1429, just a few years later, she's leading an entire army. And then, only 2 years after that, in 1431, she's burned at the stake at 19 years old. 19.
And you have to think about the scale of what she did. She didn't just show up, she led an army. She completely reversed the course of a war. I mean, can you imagine? She walks into these rooms full of armored veteran soldiers who are literally laughing in her face, and she walks out with their total obedience. She gets hit by arrows and just keeps going. She didn't sit around and meditate on her visions for a decade. She obeyed instantly.
Now that is the energy of the dragon.
So okay, what does a 15th century warrior saint have to do with your dream? The dragon you saw last night? The answer is everything.
Listen, your dream is not random. Your unconscious is not playing some little psychological game with you. A dragon doesn't just show up for kicks. It's maybe the most ancient, powerful symbol in all of human history. And when it appears in your dream, it's a summons. Period.
Psychologists have a couple of names for this. Carl Jung, he'd call it the shadow self, basically all your buried power. Joseph Campbell, he'd call it the guardian of the threshold, the gatekeeper, the thing that's standing between who you are right now and who you are truly meant to become.
So what even is this shadow self? Think about it. It's every single part of you that you were ever told was too much. You know, the part that's too loud, too fierce, the part of you that wants too much, that's just too alive. That is your dragon.
And that's exactly Campbell's point. Every single hero's journey, it has a dragon. Every single one. If you don't confront it, there is no transformation, there's no treasure, there is no story worth telling. Your life just stays stuck on page 1. Forever.
Okay, so Joan's dragon was literal war. It was political corruption. Yours? Well, yours probably looks different. Maybe it's that toxic relationship that's just draining the life out of you, or a career that feels like it's slowly suffocating you day by day. Maybe it's a grief that you absolutely refuse to feel. See, the dragon doesn't care about the specifics. It's just there, and it's waiting.
And when that dragon finally shows up in your dream, there is one single catastrophic mistake that almost everyone makes.
What is it? It's ignoring it, it's waking up, shaking your head, and immediately grabbing your phone to start scrolling. It's treating the single most important message you might ever receive as if it were just another piece of spam in your inbox.
You have to understand, your dream state is a raw, completely unfiltered arena. There are no defenses there. So when a dragon shows up in that space, it is not decoration. It's not just some cool visual. It is a dispatch. It's a direct message from the deepest, most powerful part of you, the part your polite, waking mind is way too busy and defended to ever listen to.
And this is true across every single culture. China, Europe, Mesoamerica, it doesn't matter. The dragon always represents the exact same paradox. It is primal power. It's both the treasure and the fire-breathing thing guarding it. And no, that's not a contradiction. That's the entire point.
This is exactly what Joseph Campbell was talking about, with that famous quote, "The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek." Well, guess what? Your dream about the dragon, that's the cave. That is the invitation.
And I need you to hear this. Make no mistake. This is not some casual choice you get to make. This is life or death.
Because here's the truth. People who ignore this dream, the ones who turn away from the call, they don't just stay the same. They don't get to stay neutral.
No. They shrink, they settle, they hand their power over piece by tiny piece to people, to jobs, to situations that were never worthy of in the first place. And they do it until one day they look in the mirror and they have absolutely no idea who's staring back at them. Your dream is the cave. So the question is incredibly simple. Are you going in?
Just remember where we started all this. Joan of Arc answered the call. She was 13, and she was terrified, and she answered anyway. What's your excuse?
Part 2. Let's get right into it. See, every dream you have is a question. And if you're dreaming of dragons, your soul is asking something very specific, and you better have the right answer.
So, let's get one thing straight, right now. All that generic one-size-fits-all dream interpretation you find online, it's garbage. It's dead wrong. The specific little details in your dream, the context, the action, how it feels, that's not just part of the message. That is the entire message.
Okay, let's dive into the first group of dreams. These are all about confronting the parts of yourself you've rejected, the parts you fear, maybe even the parts you've tried to kill. This is where the real work begins.
All right, this one's a classic, and it's probably the most misunderstood dream out there. The dragon chasing you? It's not your enemy, it's your power. It's that ambition, that truth, that raw anger you've been running from. From a Jungian perspective, this is a classic shadow pursuit. That dragon, it is you.
So, the whole point is to stop running. Here's your practical move, right now. Grab a pen, I want you to write down the 3 qualities you push down the most in yourself, and be brutally honest, because the dragon chasing you, it's wearing the face of one of those things. Okay, this one's a gut punch. You dream you killed the dragon, and you wake up thinking it's some kind of victory. It's not. 9 times out of 10, it's a massive spiritual warning. You're not slaying your obstacles. You're literally destroying your own potential, the very thing that holds your treasure.
So you have to ask yourself this, and you have to be honest. What so-called victories in your life have left you feeling completely hollow? What parts of yourself have you defeated when you really should have been trying to integrate them?
Yeah, she wins the battle, but she loses the war. Let that sink in for a second. That's the cost of a victory that isn't actually aligned with your soul. You think you've won, but all you've really done is sabotage your own journey.
This is the classic hero's journey right here. And the message is just brutally simple. The treasure is real, the dragon guarding it is real, and the only thing stopping you from getting it is your own fear.
That's it.
Your psyche is literally showing you what's on the other side of that fear. So what's the move? You name the treasure. Write it down. Get a piece of paper and write, what I most want and I'm most afraid to pursue is, whatever you write in that blank, that's the dragon's name.
All right, let's move on to the next stage. You can see how this builds. These dreams, they aren't about a fight anymore. They're about an ordeal, a really difficult, maybe painful, but absolutely necessary process. We're talking purification and change.
Fire is transformation. Full stop. Being burned by a dragon in a dream isn't a threat, it's an initiation. I mean, look at Joan of Arc. She was literally burned at the stake. Did the fire end her legacy? No, it ignited it.
So let's reframe this whole thing. What in your life feels like it's burning to the ground right now? A job? A relationship? Some old identity? I want you to stop calling it destruction. Your psyche is calling it transformation. It's clearing the dead wood to make room for what's next.
Okay, a dragon in water. In dream language, water is always the emotional unconscious. So, a dragon down there, that's pure, raw emotional power. Something you shoved down deep, suppressed for years, and it's just been growing in the dark, getting bigger and stronger.
So, let me ask you, when was the last time you really let yourself feel the full force of your grief, or your rage, or your deepest longing? Without judging it, without trying to stop it. That dragon, the one in the water, it's just waiting for your permission to surface.
Now, if you dream of a shape-shifting dragon, that means the transformation isn't coming. It's happening right now, in real time. And the practical move here is pretty radical. Stop trying to control it. Stop trying to put a label on it. Your only job is to follow where it leads.
And that brings us here. This is the apex of the whole journey. These dreams, they signal that the fight is over. You faced the inner enemy, you survived the fire, and now it's time to claim your full integrated power.
This is it, riding a dragon. This is the ultimate symbol of psychological integration. And notice, it's not about dominating your shadow or defeating your fear. It's about a partnership. It's you and your power, finally moving as one.
Listen to me. This dream is a green light from the deepest part of your soul. It is your permission slip. If you have been waiting and waiting and waiting for some kind of sign to make that big move, this is it. The time for waiting is over. Move now.
What if the dragon is protecting you? It means there's this fierce inner guardian inside you that's been keeping something precious safe until you were ready.
Maybe it's your talent, your big dream, some part of you you've hidden from the world. Your dream is telling you that the protector is ready to step aside. It's time. Time to claim what is yours.
Okay, finally, let's hit some of the more nuanced signals. These are the dreams that require a very specific kind of attention, a specific way of listening.
So, if you see both a black and a white dragon, your psyche is basically screaming at you to stop thinking in black and white. You are not one or the other. You're both. You are the conscious self you show the world, and you are the shadow self you are when you're alone at 3 a.m. The only move here is to own both sides of yourself, with no apology. Seeing a bunch of dragons? Simple. You're overwhelmed. You're fighting way too many battles at once. The message is clear. Pick one. Just one. The others will wait. And a baby dragon? That means a new power, a fragile new part of you, is just being born. And you have a choice. You either nurture it right now, or it will die. It's that serious.
And then, there's the rarest, most significant dream of them all. A dragon that actually speaks to you. This is what Joseph Campbell was talking about. The call to adventure. It's that voice from the deeper world, and it's demanding that you rise up.
Look, the very fact that you're having this dream, the fact you're here listening to this, that's everything. Your soul is asking you a direct question. So the only thing left to figure out is, are you finally ready to answer it?
Part 3. You've had the dream. You know what it means. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do about it? Right now, before it disappears.
Because let's just be brutally honest, knowing what your dragon dream means is completely and totally useless if you don't do something with it. It's just a pretty piece of information collecting dust in your head. And the clock is ticking, so let's get to work.
All right, we're starting with the inner work. And I want you to hear this. These are not gentle suggestions for you to ponder. These are tools for direct surgical work on your own soul. Pick one, the one that makes you a little nervous, and do it today.
Okay, if you're the woman who journals, listen up. Your assignment starts tonight. Not when you feel like it, tonight.
These steps are not a negotiation. Get a real, physical notebook, not an app on your phone. Put it by your bed the second your eyes open, before you check a single notification, before you even go to the bathroom. You grab it and you write. Every detail, the color of the scales, the sound it made, how you felt, what you did. You do this for 90 days straight, no excuses. What you're building is a direct, unfiltered line to your own unconscious. And that is the most powerful weapon you will ever have.
For any of you in therapy or doing any kind of deep inner work, that dragon dream, that is a tactical nuclear weapon for your next session. Don't waste it.
And the key word here is raw. Do not walk in there with a neat little summary. Bring the messy, confusing, raw details. The sound of its roar, the feeling in your gut, whether you fought or fled or froze. This isn't just chatting about your week. This is precision surgery on your soul. A dragon dream is your psyche screaming for reinforcements. You have to answer that call.
All right, for my analytical thinkers, the ones who love spreadsheets and logic. Your mind is your sharpest blade. We're going to use it to map this dream directly onto the real-world problem you're avoiding.
So get a piece of paper, 2 columns. On one side, you list every single excuse, every reason you haven't made that big decision. On the other side, list exactly what the dragon was doing. Now, connect the dots. Be ruthless. The dragon was guarding a treasure? That's the life you're refusing to claim. It was breathing fire? Well, that's the fear of actually changing. The dream is showing you that the obstacle is the way through.
Okay, we've done the inner work, now we move. We take all that psychic energy and we bring it out of your head and into the physical, tangible world. We make it real.
If you're someone who processes life through movement, through sports, dance, just motion, your body is your next assignment. After a dream like this, your whole nervous system is buzzing with energy. Use it. I want you to translate the dream directly into a physical act. Did the dragon breathe fire? You're gonna go do a workout so intense you feel like you could breathe fire. Were you being chased? Go for a run. But here's the key. In your mind, let it catch you. Turn around and face it. This is somatic psychology, plain and simple. It's letting your body process what your mind isn't ready to handle yet. To all the creators, the artists, the makers, your task is to give this dragon a physical form. And let me be perfectly clear. This is not about making pretty art. This is excavation. The intention here is everything. Draw it, paint it, sculpt it out of clay, build a collage. I don't care. The very act of making it real, forces you to engage with it on a level that thinking just can't touch. Women who do this have told me they get breakthrough clarity on things they've been stuck on for years. This is not a hobby. This is your life's work. Treat it with that kind of weight.
Now, if you walk a more spiritual path, there's a ritual for you. And this is not magical thinking or wishful hoping. This is intentional engagement. It's using the symbolic language your own soul already understands.
The real power in this is speaking the words out loud, not in your head, out loud. I acknowledge the power I've been avoiding. I am willing to face what I've been afraid of. I am ready for the treasure, even if it terrifies me. You know, Joan of Arc didn't just quietly ponder her visions. She engaged with them. She answered them. And that conversation changed the course of history. Yours will change the course of your life.
And now, for every woman listening who is just exhausted, who thinks, I don't have time for any of this, this is for you. It takes 3 minutes, and it is not a request, it's an imperative.
So the next time you have a dragon dream, before you do anything else, you're going to ask yourself this question, out loud. What am I most afraid of becoming? And then you're going to sit in silence for 60 seconds. Then, the second question. What am I most afraid of losing if I become that? 60 more seconds, no distractions, just you and the question. And finally, this is the one that changes everything. Is that fear protecting me, or is it protecting a version of my life that I've already outgrown? This is about radical, brutal honesty. Because the cost of not acting is spending one more day, one more hour, in a life that no longer fits.
So let's bring this all home. Let's talk about Joan of Arc. She was a teenager, a peasant girl. She didn't wait until she was ready. She didn't wait for perfect conditions because they were never going to come.
Think about that. She was a girl in a world that told her from the moment she was born that she couldn't, that she shouldn't, that she was nothing. She had every reason in the world to stay quiet, and she acted anyway.
Your dragon dream is exactly the same. It's not a polite suggestion. It's not a fun fact about your subconscious. It is a summons. It is a command from the deepest, truest part of yourself to rise up and become the woman you were always meant to be. And that's the absolute truth of it. The treasure you're after, that bigger life, that power, that version of you, it is 100% real. But so is the dragon. The fear, the challenge, the thing standing in your way, that's real too. And you, right now, just as you are the only one who can face it.
Go.